Today we're going to take a look at how you use double angle formulas. So you will be given this formula sheet, and it's more of a matter of how we're going to use them. So let's take a look at the following problem. If the sine of alpha equals negative 3/5 in quadrant 4, find the sine of 2 alpha, the cosine of 2 alpha, and the tangent of 2 alpha. So alpha is just standing for our angle there. So the first thing we need to look at is negative 3/5. That's not a unit circle value, so that means our hypotenuse is not 1. So if we're going to draw that into quadrant 4, sine opposite over hypotenuse. So we'll still use our reference angle. So opposite is negative 3, hypotenuse is 5. And our hypotenuse will always be positive, and y is negative in that quadrant, so we'll write that as negative. And then we could do the Pythagorean theorem to find x. And if you solve that, you'll find that x is equal to 4. So now we're just going to use these formulas. So the first one, the sine of 2 alpha is equal to 2 the sine of alpha cosine of alpha. And you could put theta in there, you could put whatever you want for the angle. So 2 times our sine of that triangle, opposite over hypotenuse, negative 3/5, times our cosine, adjacent over hypotenuse, 4/5. We multiply across, so 2 times 3 times 4, we have negative 24/25. Now for our cosine of 2 alpha, you'll notice that there's 3 different ones up here we can use for our cosine, and it doesn't matter what one we use. We'll try the first one. So the cosine squared of alpha minus the sine squared of alpha. And now if we fill in the blanks on that, the cosine is negative 4, not negative 4, excuse me, 4/5 squared minus our sine opposite over hypotenuse squared. So this is 16/25 minus 9/25, which is equal to 7/25. And now you'll notice we don't have a formula for the tangent, but you know tangent is y over x, which is the same as our sine over our cosine. So we found those already, so we can just do our sine divided by our cosine. So we have negative 24/7. So we'll just take a look at one more to make sure we're okay with how to use these. So the second one, if the cosine of alpha equals negative 0.3 in quadrant 2. And we're going to find all the double angles again. So the sine of 2 alpha, cosine of 2 alpha, and the tangent of 2 alpha. So the first thing I notice is, well, this isn't a fraction. Well, negative 0.3, negative 3/10. So let's write that as a fraction. So now if we draw our triangle in quadrant 2, cosine adjacent over hypotenuse, and now we could find our y value. So 10 squared equals negative 3 squared plus y squared. So 100 equals 9 plus y squared. So 91 equals y squared. So we have the square root of 91. So now let's see if we can find these. So the sine of 2 alpha, what was that equal to? Let's see, it was 2 sine of alpha cosine of alpha. So 2, our sine opposite over hypotenuse, and we always go from our reference angle, square root of 91 over 10, times our cosine adjacent over hypotenuse. So that would equal, let's see, 2 times negative 3, negative 6, the square root of 91 over 10 over 100. And we could reduce that down. We could say negative 3, the square root of 91 over 50. So the next one, the cosine of 2 alpha. And again, there's 3 different formulas you can use, the first, second, or third. So maybe I want to use this, I don't know, the third one. 1 minus 2 sine squared of alpha. 1 minus 2 sine squared of alpha. 1 minus 2. And what's our sine of that triangle? Opposite over hypotenuse. Square root of 91 over 10 squared. So 1 minus 2 times, we square it, so 91 over 100. So that's 1 minus, let's see, 2 times 91. 182 over 100. Well, to subtract, we have to have a common denominator. So 100 over 100 minus 182 over 100. So let's see, that would be negative 82 over 100, which reduces down to negative 41 over 50. And then I'll write the tangent over here. So the tangent of 2 alpha, sine of 2 alpha over the cosine of 2 alpha, because it's y over x, sine over cosine. So we said our sine was, we did that right up here, negative 3 the square root of 91 over 50, divided by our cosine, negative 41 over 50. So 50s, so we have a negative, so 3 the square root of 91 over 41. And let's see, I think they're both divisible by 3. Isn't 41 divisible by 3? No, it's not. So we could just leave it just like that.